Rob Brown breaking it all down. Yeah. SEC, sideline sports on my mind. Rob Brown calling game time, highlight shine, executive mind. Brendan Martin keeping Rob in line. Like, subscribe, share it, tell everyone. Sideline sports, y'all come back real soon. Same place, same time, same tune. From the booth to the field, every Saturday feeling you home. We ride that rivalry, make that living room sound like the zone. From Tiger Growls to Rebel crowds, every hometown heartbeat loud. Rob and Brand turning up that talk like you right there inside the crowd. SEC, sideline sports on my mind. Rob Brown calling game time, highlight shine, executive mind. Brandon Martin keeping Rob in line. Like, subscribe, share it, tell everyone. Sideline sports, y'all come back real soon. Same place, same time, same tune. Hey!
I love it.
Woo! Yeah, the only job you can have or you can drink coffee in the morning. Good morning.
Coffee in the morning.
Coffee.
Top of the morning. Brendan, it is a great day because we have the best team in the world. We got the best executive producer on the planet. Folks, watch this show. Share it, like it, subscribe. Brendan's right. Keep it simple. Smash and subscribe. We are live, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and watch these reels. Brendan's putting out reels of every show on this channel. There's so much great content coming out. A lot of you are watching it. Share it and like us. We got Coach Matt Dean with us this morning. John Hartwell up in Indianapolis. Tommy Kane. There he is. Wolf Pack Productions. I'm going to tell you what, up in Charlotte, North Carolina. Now, we got a lot of basketball to talk about. I was watching the games yesterday, and I thought about it. Tommy, I was talking to Matt before the show. I said, as a coach, just watching that Auburn game, they win the NIT, which you can say, oh, well, they're the number 65 team. Well, they're better. Hey, Stephen Pearl needs all the game experience he can get. But as a coach and as a player, when you're up by 20, then all of a sudden you're trailing by 5 or 6, I think you can get lulled to sleep. Maybe it comes a little bit too easy in your mind. The other team punches back, but that was a hell of a win. And Matt, you were up there over the weekend at the Final Four. Let's get your thoughts on what you saw and then bounce it back to Tommy, because when I got two smart basketball minds like this, I am going to put the ball in your hands.
So good morning, guys. Good morning, Tommy. And I want to start off by saying I was wrong. I thought Arizona was going to go in there and do their thing. And wow. I mean, Michigan, as much as they dominated, I think 50 seconds into the game, Yaxel had 2 fouls. And then he hurts himself later in the first half. And, guys, it wasn't even close. Arizona made it 28-23. Dusty May called a timeout. They end the half on an incredible run. It's 48-32 at the half. The game was over. And the one thing I'll say, and I think Tommy or John mentioned it last week, in the UConn-Illinois game, you could see the championship DNA that UConn has.
Yeah.
Obviously, UConn did what you talked about, that big comeback that Tulsa had yesterday. UConn did it and won the game against Duke. And they basically, their guards, Tommy, they really put a lot of pressure on the ball. I didn't realize this. There's a stat going into tonight's game. UConn's only given up like 65 points a game for this year, and we're in a big offensive era.
Yeah.
I do think I like Michigan. I've been wrong. So if you're listening to me out there, you should take whoever I go the opposite, right? But like I think UConn will make it a game because I think they'll have a great game plan. And no matter what you say, if they can win tonight, 3 out of 4, that's like in the rare air of John Wood, right? That is elite. So
yeah.
I think it'll be a game. I mean, I think the line is like 7.5. I could be wrong. I think UConn's going to give them a game just because I think defensively, they will play well. And also they hit double-digit threes against Illinois. They have so many multiple actions, Tommy, to get shooters open, and their big guy inside. I think he played at Michigan. He's a transfer. And I know Mara is really tough, the 7'2", 7'3" kid from Michigan. But I think UConn, man, they are bullies. I think they'll compete.
Oh, there's no question they'll be competing, and they're going to be competing because their coaches aren't going to let them do anything but compete. I mean, that's the thing. That's what you get when you get Danny Hurley out there coaching. They're feisty. But I agree with you. If they can win it, I mean, and when especially in today's day and age, 3 out of 4. I mean, that's next level. Nobody's going to touch that for a long time. But the Michigan game to me yesterday, the other day was. Mara was awesome inside the big kid. And I was shocked because Arizona's got the big kid too. And Mara just was like more athletic. He was more active, getting rebounds. He was more, I mean, there was one play where they threw him like an alley-oop and he had to catch it like up against the side of the backboard almost and lay it in. And I was just like, whoa, that was athletic for that kid. And I haven't watched him play that much this year. Yeah, and I was just really impressed with his ability to move at that size because, when you get a lot of big kids like that are young kids that are 7'3", 7'4", 255 pounds, they don't always have the best footwork or the best, but that kid was great the other day. And I think he led him in scoring, but I think he was the reason why they won the game. Tonight's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes down and it's one of the classics. Like it comes down to the last, couple of seconds, minutes here. I did look it up because I was curious. I didn't know where the spread, Matt, until you said it. But Michigan's favored by 6.5. And the over
going down a point from yesterday.
Yeah. And the over under I think is like 144 or something like that, 144.5. But I always tend to if you were a betting person, and I'm not necessarily. I think I've told you guys this before. The betting is allowed in North Carolina, but I am on the South Carolina border. And so I literally can't bet from my house unless I take my car and drive down like 5 minutes to cross the border. So it's the healthiest thing I've ever done in my life is live on the South Carolina side of the Charlotte area. So I can't bet every night on my couch. I can still pay my bills.
Well, and you're Gastonia, Fort Mill, Rock Hill, all that area. That's an interesting thing. All right, I got to ask you, Matt, Yaxel Lindeborg, injury. Yeah. It's national championship game. He'll play. How effective? I mean, when you're that tall and that big, and I'm no doctor, but he'll play with pain. They'll give him something.
Yeah, I was watching Andy Katz last night, guys, and he was talking to Raphael Davis, who played at Purdue, and apparently the MRI came back clean. So he's going to go. And even Yaxel said, hey, the way he shoots the ball, I'll just stand in the corner. You guys, you do your thing. If they help off on me, I'll make shots. But he's going to give it a go. And honestly, when he was out of the game in the first half, Tommy, Michigan just extended their lead. I mean, they have tremendous depth. Mara was incredible, like you said, inside. I just expect Michigan to try to dictate the tempo. And I think UConn strategically, kind of what they did against Illinois, because Illinois has a really good offense too. They kind of just slowed them down half court a little bit and said, hey, you're going to have to guard our actions. And then we're going to come back and we're going to put pressure on the basketball and we're going to make it harder for you. We're going to run you off the 3-point line a little bit and make you go to the mid-range or get to the rim, which Michigan can do because they have an elite post player off the pick and roll. They throw some incredible lob passes to him.
They really do. Yeah, they really do. I was looking at the stats too of the Illinois game, and I mean, to UConn's credit, I mean, they kept them. They shot Illinois shot 34% from the floor and 23% from the 3-point line. I mean, you're not going to win a lot of basketball games doing that. You're just not. But then on the flip side, UConn wasn't much better. They were 35% from the floor and 36% from the 3-point line. 36% most coaches can live with for a game 3-point line. But I mean, it'll be interesting to see because UConn's going to have to score the ball tonight. They're going to have to score because Michigan's going to score. I mean, I was thoroughly impressed with watching Michigan and what they did the other day against Arizona. I was with you, Matt. I thought Arizona was basically going to cruise into this championship game. I thought they were going to be a 6, 7, 8 point favorite in whatever game they got into. They were just too good. And man, Michigan just punched them in the face. And I don't think Arizona knew what to do. I mean, the announcers kept saying stats like, this is the first time Arizona's been down by more than 6 points the entire season or whatever. And I'm hearing these stats and I'm like, holy smokes. I mean, they've just beat teams from wire to wire, never had to come back from something like this. So when they found themselves down, and I don't think they really had the mentality or couldn't really figure out how to get themselves back into the game. And it just was Michigan's credit, man. They played great.
Well, the interesting thing is, I think Arizona, of all the teams in the Final Four, for sure shoots fewer 3-point attempts than any of those teams. So as far as coming back from a big deficit, if you're not built to shoot threes, it's like you're a team that goes on the road that runs the ball 80% of the time, and you get down 21-0 in the first quarter. It's probably not happening.
No, that's a great point, Rob. I mean, it's a great point. It all depends on how you run your offense. Like if you find yourself down. I mean, I remember when we used to have Herb Sendig was coaching at NC State, and he would run a very slow offense, of kind of methodical offense, things like that. If we were down by 10 or 12 points with halfway through the second half, you were like, there's no way we're coming back, because the kids we're not going to run. We're not going to gun. We're just going to keep running our same stuff. And we don't have enough time in the game to get back. So that's a great point. If they're not going to be able to hit the threes and consistently, and they're down like that, then they're really mathematically, it's really hard to come back. Right.
John Hartwell, it is. I agree. And it's going to be fun. The Fighting Hurleys, the fact that the way they play, they don't care what other people say about them. They're focused on just being the best UConn team. And again, it's John Wooden elite, 3 of the last 4 Final Fours. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say UConn wins tonight, 67-64. John Hartwell, you're there right now. Matt was up there. Yan's there. Let's talk about this Final Four atmosphere at Lucas Oil Stadium, and also last night at the Hinkle Fieldhouse. Man, as a coach, if you had any hair left, and you as a coach, you'd be pulling it all out if you're the Auburn coach or the Tulsa coach.
Yeah, actually, speak just briefly about, good to see you guys this morning, about last night's game. Yeah, actually, Rob, the semifinals were at Hinkle on Butler's campus, and then last night's games are, the Division II and III national championship games and the NIT championship game were played at the home of the Pacers, which was really a neat deal. And Auburn survived what would have been classified as an epic collapse in the second half to come back and win by 6 in overtime against a Tulsa team that never gave up. But, Sunday of Final Four is usually the day where people are rehashing what happened on Saturday and saying, what if tomorrow night? And really, I would say the dominant topic yesterday was, love him or hate him, Hurley has established himself as one of the all-time great March Madness coaches. And it's hard to argue with. Just like you look at the line on today's game, I think it's 6.5 points. Michigan a favorite. I'm not going to tell people what to do with their money, but you'd be a fool to bet against Hurley and UConn.
Yeah. I'm taking the Fighting Hurleys, Matt.
Yeah, and John, I'm sorry we didn't connect this weekend. It's what's interesting about the Final Four, and Tommy, I know you've been to probably numerous of those as well. It's you run into someone you haven't seen in 5 or 6 years, and you get encapsulated in an hour conversation, catching up, and it's fantastic. But like, you have an agenda. I mean, you're going to do A, B, and C and get there, and you don't even get to B. But like Friday night, the weather was fabulous. You couldn't dial it up, and then Saturday, we go to the game and it's like raining sideways, and we get in there, great atmosphere. We come out, it's dropped 20 degrees temperature, and it's windy as heck. And it goes from like 65 to 35 on the way out of the arena. But I have a question for Tommy, and I'm going to vary a little bit here from the topic. 2 things. One, from a production standpoint, Tommy, you do a lot of stuff. Why are we playing the women's championship game on Easter Sunday at 3:30 Eastern time in the afternoon? Okay. I mean, and I'm a women's coach. We want to grow this game. Can we not play at prime time on Sunday night? What are we competing against? Baseball? Major League? I don't understand, Tommy. In the world of TV contracts, how are we? And then secondly, I have a really close family member that knows the UConn AD and congratulated him on the win over Illinois. He said, Wait, you didn't watch the women's game the night before and my guy Gino? So, I mean, first of all, there was so much drama at the end of a game where I thought South Carolina dominated UConn in the second half. And to have that, I'm going to tell you what, from a legacy standpoint, it's one of the worst things. John Hartwell, you and I are old enough to remember this. It's not Woody Hayes' moment, but it was not a good moment for Gino.
Yeah, I tell you, I agree with you 100%, Matt. First, to answer your first question, I agree. I had my daughters with me yesterday, and we kind of really gotten wrapped up. I think I've told you guys where we follow the brackets, and I saw it, and I was like, "Oh, girls, the game's going to be on tonight." And I said that to them at 4:00 in the afternoon. I was like, "The game's going to be on tonight." And then I looked at my phone. I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, it's already playing. It's halfway," And I was like, "Crap." But I agree with you. I don't know why. And the women's product is the basketball at that level it's a great product. I mean, they play great basketball, and I was loving UCLA winning the championship. I mean, I love seeing it for the first time for those ladies and doing that. But agree with you, Dawn Staley, her team. Speaking of dynasties and speaking of the greats of all the coaches and especially in the tournament levels, I mean, she's just done such a great job. As has Gino, obviously, but. I didn't really get too involved. I've read some of I didn't see it live, what happened after the game and all stuff, but I read a lot of the clips from afterwards and all the things like that. And it just sounded like Gino let the competition get a little too much of him and get the better of him. And I was shocked because I've always thought Gino was a very classy, good coach from what I've known of him and seen him coach and see him answer, tough questions and things like that. He's always handled things correctly, but I was a little shocked by all of that. I agree with you, Matt. And it was not a good look. And Staley and Dawn Staley's not going to back down from anybody, right? I mean, she's as feisty of a player as I've ever when I used to watch her play at Virginia, and now she's the same way as a coach. And so it wasn't a good look. There's the old saying, though, no such thing as bad publicity, right? I mean, there's publicity. There's a lot of stir about it. People wanted to see what was happening. I'm sure a lot of people clicked to see what the clips of it all and kind of got that interest up. And then, going into the championship game, I think it was a perfect scenario of South Carolina thinking, we just beat UConn. We're going to win the whole thing. They didn't take UCLA very seriously, and I think UCLA just punched him in the mouth. I didn't get to watch much of the game. Like I said, I missed it all because I thought it was going to be an late afternoon, evening game. But
that's a time. That's like the Saturday afternoon. You want to drop a news story, a big one that nobody's going to watch. Saturday afternoon at 5:00 Central. That's the dead zone. That was always the lead in to Hee Haw. I remember as a kid growing up. We all remember Hee Haw. Don't lie. We'll still watch it if we can. John Hartwell.
Can we talk real quick why we all watched Hee Haw as a young man and why we all?
Well, I'll tell you why.
What the real reasons were?
Because of the cornfields.
The cornfields.
There's all kind of great things in those corn rows. I can tell you that.
I would be like, whoa,
Hey,
look what's
Hee Haw introduced us to the Daisy Duke jeans.
That's right.
Shorts. It was not the Dukes of Hazzard. It was Hee Haw.
Several of Elvis's girlfriends were in there. It was great. John Hartwell, you were in Indianapolis. You still are over the weekend with Ian Cowart. You've had a chance to talk to a lot of people from all over the country. Saw a picture with you and Mark Gottfried. And there was one other individual in one of those pictures. Tell me who it was, but what's the buzz up there about what's going on in college basketball, college football? And Coach Cal is climbing the ladder to be kind of the elder statesman, spokesman. He's making a lot of sense. And I'm going to tell you, I am one of the biggest fans of Darius Acuff Jr. He played hurt, didn't say a word about it. Just like Yaxel Lindeborg will play tonight as long as he's got blood pumping through his veins. That's what we love about college sports and life in general is when things ain't going your way, you find excuses to win. And that's what you do, John, and Matt and Tommy and Brendan and everybody else. You got to.
Yeah, so I don't want Matt to get upset with you, Rob, but you got to understand who that third guy was in the picture, a guy named Ed Conroy. Tommy and Matt both know Ed. Talk about 2 degrees of separation from Davenport, Iowa, and the Quad Cities. Ed Conroy is a native of there. In fact, I saw him last night. His brother Duffy is the associate head coach for Tulsa. So, and Ed is the head coach at the Citadel. This is his second time around. He was the head coach at Tulane for a while. and a teammate of mine. So yeah, those
He was an
were my
assistant with
two.
me, John, when I was at NC State. He was an assistant under Les Robinson. I knew Ed well. Yeah.
Oh yeah. He and Buzz and Al Daniels and the whole crew. Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
But yeah, Rob. So you make reference. I was actually that picture was at a party that CAA, which is better known as Jimmy Sexton's firm, held a party on Friday afternoon, and Reese Davis was there, and Pete Thamel, and lot of coaches. Speaking of Cal was there too. And, just like we've talked about, there's a lot of uncertainty, chaos, whatever you want to call it, going on in college athletics. But at the same time, college athletics has never thrived at a greater level. We've got to continue to work to fix some stuff. Is what Trump came out with the other day. Is that going to be an end-all, be-all fix? No, not at all. But we've got to continue the dialogue and find some way to fix it, because when you look at the different stories, and it's not about the guys getting $3, $4, $5 million a year. It's about the storylines of kids having an opportunity, not the ones that are going to make the NBA or the WNBA or the NFL, but using college athletics as a vehicle to get an education, to make a better life for themselves, their family, and their future generations. And that continues to thrive in college athletics today, just like it did, 30, 40, 50 years ago. And that's the beauty of sport. Oh, by the way, also the beauty of it is, when you play these games, we can analyze them to death. We can have paralysis by analysis, but you don't truly know what's going to happen until the ball's tipped and until that final horn goes off. And that's the beauty of it. That's what draws so many people to it.
It's the best reality TV ever made.
Yeah, it really does.
It is.
And John, I know
I've
you
always
said
that. That's funny you say that, Tommy, because I've always said it's the best and the only. It was the original reality TV in general was watching sports.
That's right.
And people don't understand that's where that fascination came from. And Tommy knows, talking about production, and when we see these games and stuff, the dance that goes behind these productions, when you're seeing an interview that you think is happening live, that is happening 20 seconds ahead, and the back and forth and all that sort of magistry that is done. It's the game behind the game, right?
That's right.
Well, and I think too, you get so, as a fan, your adrenaline is just pumping, Matt, watching these games. And I get kind of worked up, and Audrey showed me something yesterday. Said, "You want to calm down? You want to feel good?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Go over there and wrap your arms around this tree here." And I did that. And when I get really wound up, I take my shoes off, go back to my days on the karate team at Auburn, and walk around barefooted. Reconnect.
Please tell me there's video footage of you wrapping your legs around a tree or whatever. Please tell me, Rob.
I really did. I did it this morning because I was wound up about something.
This morning.
I did it this morning, and it does calm you down. So
clearly, I need to take a trip out there.
Do you have a picture of you on the karate team at Auburn? I did
it 2.5 years with Mr. Makami was our sensei, an 8th degree black belt. And I told John, we used to have to go down to USA on Monday nights to belt test with Mr. Makami. And Akata,
what year was this?
This was in the mid 80s. And Shotokan, which is a form of karate that I took, I got 4 out of the 10 belts. I wish I'd have finished it, but I remember this 28 moves in Akata. And unlike in the strip malls where you pay every month to go get your black belt and they hand them out like candy, a lot of times, let's be honest, Mr. Makami, you get 27 out of 28 moves right on Akata, and you go, "Mr. Brown, you not pass today. You come back next quarter. You not pass." I'm like, mate, go on. Okay, all right. So I just had to move on. But Matt, John, I know you got to go here. You're up there with GMC Architecture out of Birmingham, folks. You need to build something, design something. John, give a little plug about your company that you're with, part of, Yan, but also your closing comments before you go, and you'll be at the Final Four game tonight. Will you send some pictures and write and bring us a souvenir?
Yeah, I'll be happy to. Actually, I just got a message from Yan. I just got a message from Yan, and our meeting got pushed back, so I can stay on for a few more minutes.
Okay,
But I'll give you a snapshot of what is great about college athletics. So the last couple of minutes of regulation and the overtime period last night at the NIT game, I actually stood with Elijah Freeman's mom, and Elijah's a forward for Auburn. I think he had 14 or 15 rebounds last night, hit a couple of free throws late. But she talked about him. He's from South Florida, went to a D2, D3 school, Lincoln Memorial, his first year. Had really had a great year. Came to Auburn.
Claiborne County, Tennessee. Yeah.
Matt probably knows better where that is than I do. But
over near Knoxville, yeah.
East Tennessee.
And again, you hear all these stories, and here I am standing with this mom. You can tell she's beaming from ear to ear. She was a little vocal about a couple of the officials' calls and stuff like that. She told me when she walked up, she goes, "I'm gonna be a little vocal, and there may be a 4-letter word sneak out every once in a while." I said, "Ma'am, I understand. Hey, that's your son." She was wearing his jersey, but talked about how proud she is of it. I think he's a business major at Auburn. Leads the team in GPA. So you hear about all the money stories, all of those things, but there are individual great tales about all of these kids. And again, I think that's part of the magic and the attraction and what continues to make college athletics great. It was yesterday, it is today, and it will be tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so glad you just said that. Tommy, elaborate on that. I mean, just like you hear about Ruben Chinyelu at Florida, people say this guy is off the charts, hell of a basketball player, academics, the total package, student, athlete. That's what I love, especially the guys who overcome adversity and fight back against it. That's Horatio Alger, man, on steroids.
Yeah, and I agree with John. I mean, there's a lot of kids out there that know the value of what they're getting in college, and they know the value is their college education, and they're there for the right reasons. And if they can make a little money on the side from playing basketball, great. I mean, that's, and like we talked about in the past, 99.5% of the kids that are playing college basketball are never going to play professional basketball, right? So they make a little money while they're in college, but if the parents and the people that are helping them get through the process can make it and tell them and let them know that, look, your education is way more important than trying to, make an extra $100,000 in school every year. I mean, that's the beauty of college sports. It really is. But what's interesting to me, guys, and we can talk about this just a little bit, but I mean, like when you look at like some of the rosters and how many, especially Illinois and some of these teams, like so many foreign kids they're pulling kids now from, professional leagues in Europe and stuff like that come play in the States at that college level. And it's really going to become, it's going to become a thing because they can do that. And there's some good quality players over there that are getting paid to play professional ball over in Europe, but they still have college eligibility to come back and play for the States. And so it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of continues to develop. I just wanted to throw that in there. I noticed that the other day, just how many foreign kids are on some of these teams.
Yeah, and Matt, I think John said the other day and that was a great reel Brendan put out all over, and it was about the European players that come here. I was listening on radio in Memphis one time, and they were talking to a coach who coached in Europe, and he said there's at least one total day, an entire day, each week, you do nothing but shoot free throws and work on fundamentals like defense. 136 European players are over here right now playing college basketball, Matt.
Before I go to that comment, Brendan, we got to go back to the karate for a second here. I mean, I saw here. Look, I mean, I'm
searching. I'm searching the internet desperately.
Karate man bleed inside, bro. Karate man bleed inside. That's all.
Man, when they brought you in here last night, you were crying like a baby. Man, Karate Man bleed on the inside, or bruised on the outside. I love that movie.
So, okay, and this is a fun fact about Dino. I've been a facility guy my whole career too, besides coaching. We hosted a karate tournament one time in Mallory Gymnasium at Rhodes College. Yeah. And they were such a great group of people. They presented me with an honorary black belt and a robe afterwards. And I got so I do have a black belt, Brownie, but I'm sure you could take care of me in karate because you got that 4 levels of whatever the hell you said.
No, my grandmother,
that's greater than what I got.
My father's mother, Gamma Margaret, at 67 years of age, got her black belt in karate. She was a tough woman, buddy.
But let's go back to the original question you asked me. I don't want to variate too much here, but Tommy touched on the roster with Illinois, and like, to be honest with you, makes a huge difference. But I will tell you this: I have a good friend who's a coach out in the West at a smaller school, and he was talking to me. He's got 8 different players represented from different countries, but all the visa problems they were having, just getting their roster to the States. And especially with the last couple of years and what we've had going on, I can imagine it's even more tricky. So it's great to have these gentlemen on your roster. And you're right, Rob, they are very fundamental. I mean, without a doubt. And I think there's I'll give you another thing I heard, and John, you may know a lot about this talking with some of your friend base because it's a little higher up than mine. But I was talking to this same coach. They had a roster. They had a roster last year. Their NIL budget was $500,000, and that basically was the sum of some of their buy games, right? And they were able to use that money to get their players. They had a young man do really well, so he's got an offer of $1.5 million to leave their institution. So it's like there are some real problems going on, but to talk about what Tommy and John said earlier, doesn't matter. We're at the height right now, guys. Our product is great. We can't figure the system out. Jay Billis and Calipari were going head to head yesterday on TV, and it was great fodder talking about the state of college basketball. And you can say what you want about how we're going to need to fix it. It's at the highest level ever. When you walk in, and like in between the games on Saturday, we got the chain smokers playing. And I'm like, they're making the event more like a Super Bowl, but there's nothing like Saturday afternoon, guys. You see all these fan bases going to the gym thinking they got a shot to win it. The electricity in that arena, Lucas Oil, which is a football stadium, obviously, but it was just, it was crazy. And John and Tommy, U of A, Arizona had a ton of people there. They were represented really well. And I think that's another reason why when you have it in middle America, more people have access to get there as opposed to one coast.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. I went a couple of years ago out to Phoenix when the NC State made the run to the Final Four. There's no way I was going to miss that, because last time obviously it was 83 that we went. I was like, I might never see this again in my lifetime if they keep up with that ratio. But it was just a phenomenal experience, even though we got beat by Purdue. We just did the lead up to it. It's like going to the Super Bowl. there's parties going on. There's live bands outside. There's all these, interactive things for kids and everything. It's just a great experience. The NCAA, and as far as that goes, they do that right with the whole the Final Four and all that stuff. It's a big to do. Look, at the end of the day, we can all, the old guard that we all are, complain about like the money and in the transfer portal and everything like that. But you're right, Matt and John. Like, the stands are always full, and the fans are passionate. And look at college football. No matter what, it's the thing to do on the weekends, on Saturdays, all around the Southeast and most of the country as well, but definitely in the Southeast. But with college basketball in the tournament, those guys, there's probably more than half the people there were not Arizona or UConn fans. They were just fans of the game and wanted to see the Final Four. That's what, it's great. It's and be part of that experience. And look, we said it from a couple months ago, the NCAA tournament, the March Madness to me is the greatest time of the year. After tonight, I will have a little bit of a depression. I will have to go to have some therapy for a couple of days because basketball will be gone. I do have the NBA and can watch some of that, but it's not quite the same. But it's a sad and glorious day today.
Yeah, and look, I want to give a little plug here for if you travel, and we all do. Going through Birmingham, one of my favorite people is a lady, Vivian Glover. She manages now. She's moved over to the Embassy Suites at the Homewood exit in Birmingham. You'll love this lady. You get to know her. Once you're on her roster for coming, she'll meet you with a bag when you get there full of snacks and beverages and all kind of stuff. They are the most attentive. Vivian Glover. Her godson, Trendon Watford, played at Mountain Brook High School, played at LSU. He's now with, I think, the Brooklyn Nets. That's her nephew. And her godson, student athlete, Darrell Williams, number 45, played at Hoover, 6'3", 245 linebacker at Auburn about 8 years ago. I love people like that. She watches this show. And John, Matt, Tommy, Brendan, getting to meet these student athletes, we got to be careful not to get caught up in all the negativity because there's so many great stories. And I'm getting intel fed to me right now by Franz Beard, along with Kevin Skarbinski, the two greatest basketball writers in the South and two of the best in the country. Franz, no matter what, a meteor could hit Franz's house and he'd have a positive story coming out of it. It may be saying that it was a Florida Gator that rescued me, but I love Franz. Franz writes, and there's so many great stories out there. And John, you're still there. You were going to be at the championship game tonight. And when you see these coaches from all over the country, I don't know anyone who's more electric and enthusiastic than John Calipari. Do you know Coach Cal? Do you ever talk to him? And I think he's going to do some great things at Arkansas. I think he's signed 2 of the top 6 high school players in the country. But I want to ask y'all, what are we going to do about recruiting high school players? I'm worried about that. Football, basketball, I don't want that to go away. I don't want to see high school sports suffer.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to suffer, but it's going to be different. And high school kids, I mean, unless you are a 5-star, and this really doesn't matter, the sport, you may end up playing at a so-called mid-major, group of 5, whatever it may be, because and this is a byproduct of the pressure on coaches. You know, that used to be a coach gets a new job, you got 4 or 5 years, you can bring in your own classes, you can develop the kids, all of that. Well, one of the byproducts of the transfer portal and NIL is the patience level of whether it's athletic directors, administrators, donors, all of the above. It's not a 3 or 4 year turnaround patience now. It is a 12 to 18 to 24 months. And you know, kudos to Kirk Cignetti and what he did at Indiana football, but that's the poster program right there of how you turn a long dormant program into almost overnight success. And, oh, by the way, a national championship. So I think that is a change. Hey, I got to go back for one more second to the whole karate thing. Because Brendan, I'm just going to go out on a limb here. I would pay $4.99 for pay-per-view to see Rob Brown in full garb, and I would like to see a progression. I would like to see it be a 2x4, a cement cinder block, whatever he's going to break. I would pay big money to see that.
You know, John, there's this thing, Brendan and John, there's this thing called AI. You could just plug that into some AI, and I bet you in about 20 minutes we got the whole thing.
It's not exactly 20 minutes, but I have 3 AIs currently searching the web of all the Auburn Plainsmen and doing a deep research dive from the entire 1980s decade, and it's doing nothing so far, but I trust me, I spun it up about 10 minutes ago. So we had Grok, ChatGPT 5.4, and Claude are checking into this.
Well, we had a great sensei, Wayman Hartwell. I think he was from Bainbridge, Pike County, down near Fort Rucker, but he was incredible. But it was great. You did 3 nights, 4 nights a week. It was fun, but you learn a lot how to keep calm, if anything. Tommy,
Can I just say that I guarantee in the history of sports talk radio or anything like that, there's never been a commentary between the Final Four and the greatness of college basketball and switching back and forth to club karate in college.
I mean, I show of hands of everyone wanting to change the name of the show to ADD Sports. Yeah. I just feel like we should be the ADD Sports Network, and
squirrel,
be done.
Well, and I'll get back.
Let me see a story one time when I was a karate guy and I chopped the cinder block in half.
I don't know. I'm telling you what.
To save my tuition.
Yes, I do love this topic. And I'm going to tell you what, and Brendan and I, every day you learn. I go back and watch the shows like coaches do, and I break them down. It's like, what can we do better? And all the main thing is just engage. And, when you don't talk over each other, and I got to be careful of that, you get better sound bites and better reels. Guys, our love of sports.
No, when you bring the karate picture of yourself in from college, that's better, Rob. When you try to just explain it away, that's the best, because then I'm just not going to let you do it.
It's fun, and it's still good for you.
I'm going to talk to Audrey, and we will find it.
It's a lot of good discipline. But I got to say this. Our love of college basketball, college sports, it gets stronger. We get frustrated. I'll tell you, another thing Audrey had me watch over the weekend was this documentary on Netflix. There's two of them. Arnold Schwarzenegger's life story and Sylvester Stallone. Sylvester Stallone was told he was so bad he couldn't talk. He was just he wrote himself into the movie parts. I mean, that's guys. Those are two of the most iconic people ever. All right, so let's bounce it around, and I'll start with Tommy and Matt and John. Looking at this matchup tonight, make your case for who's going to win and why. And Brendan got me about Kalshi, which is a betting service. Now, Tommy, obviously you'll be driving across the state line or whatever you got to do. Mobile Tommy, but tell us why it's going to happen the way it's going to happen tonight, and we'll be watching.
I mean, I don't think Michigan's going to cover the 6.5 points. I think it'll be a tight game, but I think Michigan's going to win. I think Michigan is just, from what I saw the other day. And I mean, UConn, I was surprised, put it this way, I was surprised that UConn played as well as they did after beating Duke and going through that roller coaster of a game. A lot of times, as coaches know, and Matt will tell you, and John, that like you win a big close game like that, your team's on this high, and they're reading all the paraphernalia, the stuff on the internet, and they're getting all their friends are calling them and whatever, and on this invincible high of like, we're never going to get beat. And I think sometimes when you play really quickly after that, it's a hard thing to get your kids back into that mindset of like the eye of the tiger, let's go kick some butt. But they did a nice job against Illinois. But I think that Michigan right now is clicking. After what I saw them do to Arizona, I think Michigan's clicking. I would, if I was a betting man, I would probably put money on UConn to cover, or to beat the spread, to beat the spread. But I don't think UConn's going to win. I think Michigan's going to walk away. I think Michigan's going to be your national champion, and rightfully so. Either one of these teams deserves it. I mean, they're great basketball teams, but I think Michigan's is got a little bit of an edge right now mentally, in my opinion.
Yeah, Dusty May, incredible coach. Matt.
So we haven't had yet that elite game in the Final Four. I mean, if you look at the Illinois game, Illinois, the crowd was they were just waiting for that thing to get to one possession late in the game. They couldn't get over the hump. There was a ton of Illini fans there. It's a short drive, obviously. So tonight I'm going to go with Tommy's theme. I think it's going to be an elite game, and I think Michigan wins in a close game. I think their offense, watching them live, they have so many people that can do so many different things. I mean, they get downhill, they penetrate and pitch, they push the basketball, they have an inside presence, they have someone that can score at the rim, they have someone that can protect at the rim. That being said, I just think UConn will be so prepared and they will make it. So I'm actually going to go, I'm going to say it's going to be a close game, and I think the under. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game because I think UConn will will the tempo of the game in their favor. I still give Michigan a slight edge. That's my 2 cents.
John Hartwell.
Hey, here's my key to the game, and I'm gonna throw this back to somebody from Tommy's backyard. Silas Damari, I think, is going to be a huge key in this game. If you look at his stat line from Saturday, I think he only had 7 points, but he had 9 rebounds, 7 assists. Unbelievable player. He didn't shoot the ball well the other day, but if UConn's opportunity to win this game, like these guys have referred to, is controlling the tempo. If you let Michigan get up and down and get you in a fast-paced game, one, like y'all talked about earlier, if Michigan gets up, 12, 15, 18 points, UConn's style of play is not conducive to making large comebacks. But if UConn can control the pace of play, they can hit enough threes to keep Michigan honest. I think it's going to be a heck of a basketball game. I hate to be a bandwagon jumper, but I agree. I think UConn covers, but Michigan wins the game.
All right, Tommy.
What's the spread? 7.5?
6.5.
6.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you like, Brendan? What do you like?
I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know, maybe it's different. I just feel like Michigan's, had better defense, better offense, a little bit better rebounding, and I feel like they're just a little better tournament form right now. I feel like Michigan, it's a tough one, but I really, really look down after, being really honest about Florida and seeing Florida's going to dominate. You really got to break it down with numbers, and Dave Bartu taught us that one. But I just feel like right now, with everything going, the direction is going, UConn has the ability and the pedigree to make it close. I think that they can keep it up there. I just feel like right now Michigan is just scoring well and they're rebounding well and they're just in a better form. I think Michigan wins and covers.
Well, if you bet a lot, the trend is your friend.
Yeah.
The trend is your friend. UConn.
But I think they'll win and cover for sure.
Well, UConn 2011, 2014, 2023, 2024. They get to the Sweet 16. In those 4 times, they win it all. I got UConn 67, Michigan 64. Matt?
I want to make a quick point, too, about UConn. And correct me if I'm wrong here, Tommy and John in the panel. I think since 1999, they have won 6 national championships. I think Calhoun's got 3. Kevin Ollie won. Hurley 2. You talk about a quarter of a century of dominance.
Yeah.
It's been UConn basketball. They're going for number 7 tonight, aren't they?
Yes.
And it would be 3 and 4. So we throw around words like championship DNA, tournament DNA. I think nothing will phase UConn. I go back to John's point. I even think they're big. Who's it? Terrace Reed Jr. in the post. I think he'll compete like he did. He was a big factor, and Illinois got size. Another thing that was interesting about Saturday, watching the introductions for both games, Arizona started 3 true freshmen, and I thought that was remarkable. And it kind of showed a little bit into the game that Michigan had just more experience. But another thing I want to talk to the panel quickly about. We mentioned the state of college basketball. I think for a while now, and John's experience when he was at Monroe as well can probably give me better perspective on this, but I think a lot of the group of 5 have turned into junior colleges in this respect. You have to go out and sell these players that you're going to develop them for their best payday, and you realize you're going to lose these kids in 1 to 2 years. And you have to have a JUCO mentality as a recruiter, and it's a little harder that you're going to recruit every year knowing that I bring in a good player, Rob, there's a good chance I'm going to lose that kid in a year or 2. And I have to have that mentality because that's the only way you can do it. Because if you have a good player, they're in the portal after this game tonight.
Yeah, I was saying on the show last Thursday or Friday, same thing. The group of 6 and even some of the Power 4 schools are essentially single A, double A, triple A. You watch the Memphis Redbirds baseball. Get to know these guys at triple A, especially if you're in my business. It's nice to know them when they're making $25,000 or $50,000 a year before they sign a $180 million contract and don't talk to people. John Hartwell, that's a great point, Matt. That's where we're going. That's where we are.
Yeah, it is. I mean, you've got to use the portal both ways, whether you're losing kids or you're gaining kids. But Matt's spot on there, as he always is. As a coach, you can't have the expectation that you're going to have these kids for 3, 4, 5 years. If you have done your job recruiting and that player can start for you, play meaningful minutes, they're going to be gone. I had this conversation last night, watching a little bit of the D2 national championship game.
Yeah.
And, coaches scared to death when they're even at the D2 level. If a player makes an all-conference team, an all-tournament team on a big stage like this, man, you're torn because you love it for the kid and their success and what that does for your team. But all of that does is shine a brighter light on that kid for the next level up to be able to go make some money. And that's the nature of today's game. You can bitch and get mad about it, but guess what? If that happens, you're going to be out of the game. Because it's reality. Yeah. It's here. And instead of fight it, you better embrace it and find a way to use it to your advantage.
Yeah, you know what? Well, on that point too, John. And Matt's. You guys are all hitting the nail on the head with this. But one of the things I look at as a fan of the game since that day I could first walk, right? And people are gonna start realizing is you're gonna lose the legacies of players at schools are not going to exist anymore. There's a whole lot less jerseys are going to go in the rafters. A whole lot of great players for a university are going to not have because they're going to be 1 year and gone. And so you're not going to have these kids that we've talked about, we come in as a freshman and stay 2 or 3 or 4 years. They're the second leading scorer all time in the school. They took whatever. Their jerseys go in the rafters 5 years from now. You're always going to associate back 10 years from now, go, oh man, you remember when we had so-and-so played those? He was a great player. All that's going to kind of go away. I mean, it's starting to go away because you're just not going to have those guys that are going to be longtime players at schools. So all that history and lore is really going to just kind of go away. It really is. And that's a sad thing for purists like myself and I'm sure all you guys on this panel that love, when you think about the history of NC State basketball, you think about David Thompson and Monty Towell and Chris Corciani, Rodney Monroe, all these great players that played for multiple years for the school. And that's gone. That's going to be gone.
But you know what I think is going to correct that? Is when the players that are bouncing around 3 or 4 times in a 4-year period, they're going to come back and realize they don't have a home. And they're going to be the ones going, guys, don't do this. I don't feel accepted anywhere. I think that's going to help more than we think. And also, I don't know if you saw the comments by Cam Newton down in Auburn last week with about NIL. He said, man, he let it rip and said, hey, before you start talking to us about money, he said, and I want you to take me word for word. Y'all put this out there. Tell these parents, before you start talking about money, send us winners. Send us people that are committed. He goes, look, I transferred. He goes, I did it, but I had to. But bottom line is, I think it'll correct itself because these guys, think about it. You go somewhere in 3 or 4 years, Matt, bouncing around, and it doesn't work out in the pros, which is very, very hard to make it in the pros, college, NFL, NBA, whatever. Then you got to go back somewhere and get a job. And if you've screwed a bunch of people over among the wealthiest people in your respective state who can help you get a job, buddy, you're in big trouble. I don't do that to people. Don't step on the feet that might be attached to the rear end you might be kissing one day or need to get a job.
That's a very mature way to look at it. I don't think these kids look at it like that, Rob. I really don't. I mean, they don't. They're looking at what's right in front of them, the carrot that's in front of their nose, and that's the money that's
you're
right
right.
there.
You're right.
Yeah, but I'll tell you a quick story real quick. And I was at the reunion. We had an NC State basketball reunion a couple months ago. I guess it was now. We played Virginia Tech, and a lot of the players went to practice on Friday. And Chris Corciani is a dear friend of mine and was a great point guard for us in the early 90s with Rodney Monroe in the backcourt. And I was talking to Chris, and we were talking about NIL. And I was like, man, could you imagine what you and Rodney could have been demanding at that time if you were NIL and you could transfer around? You would have gotten premier money. And he goes, and he looked at me, he goes, you know what, TK? He goes, I would have, but because I stayed and when I was in Raleigh and I stayed and lived in Raleigh for 4 years, I grew a business. He got in the mortgage business after he played professionally overseas for a long time. And he grew a huge mortgage business that he sold, 4 or 5 years ago. And he's been retired now for 4 or 5 years. And he was like, and I built it all because of my name and reputation here in Raleigh and around North Carolina. So if I had been bouncing all around the country, he goes, I would have never been able to build my business and do what I did. So he's looking back now, obviously, but I just don't think kids today and age don't see that big picture, Rob. They're looking at the carrot in front of their nose, which is the money.
It is, but I think of Chris Doring has a mortgage company there in Gainesville. Walk on. I mean, what? And also Brendan knows him really well, but seems like just a great, the All-American guy.
Yeah, he's a part of a mortgage group, but yeah,
Yeah, and that's real NIL. Jan Calvert, we talked about the other day, GMC Architecture. I mean, bought Infinity. I mean, Matt, quickly, we only have a few minutes left, but there's so many great stories out there. It's awful easy to get caught up in all the negativity.
Yeah, like Rob in a dojo.
Well, Elvis in a dojo eating jelly donuts. Think about that, Matt.
Oh, that's even more. I can't.
So,
did you ever have to use chopsticks to catch a fly?
No, I did not. I did not do that. But I'm gonna tell you one thing they taught you is never lose your temper.
So I have a unique story. This is a loyalty story about the University of Iowa tied into Auburn, Rob. On Friday night, me and my buddy were at a great place in downtown Indy, Harry and Izzy's, man. Great, highly recommended if you're ever in downtown Indy. I know we talked about St. Elmo's, but Harry and Izzy's, their staff took care of us. But anyway, we're walking out. We're in the bar area, had to get our meal there because it was hard to get a table. And we see at the table Matt Gaydens, who's now in the Auburn staff, was a great player for the University of Iowa. It's an Iowa City kid. He's there with his wife and his parents. And my buddy, he was wearing his Hawk stuff, and they don't know us for Adam. And all my buddy said to him on the way out was, "Go Hawks." Well, that turned into a 5-minute conversation. They found out we were both from the state of Iowa. My buddy's son went to Iowa and said, "Hey, my son cheered you on when you were a player." He was there at the same time. And it means something, and we talked about it briefly. Like the state of Iowa, there are no professional teams in the state of Iowa. So really, and I'm going to probably tick off some Cyclone fans by saying this, but the University of Iowa is really the professional team for the state of Iowa.
Yeah, it is.
So you can tell his wife thought it was really cool that we remembered her husband, and that I go, "Hey, man, you've been in this profession a while now, and it's tough because you didn't get retained by Iowa and they go to the Elite Eight. I know it hurts, but you're in a great place right now, and I wish you the best."
Yeah. Tommy, great stuff. Matt, John Hartwell, unbelievable. We'll be talking again Thursday about what happened on this game, but thank y'all all so much for the insight here, and great day. Happy day after Easter. It's a great time of year, and we'll be texting. I'm going to put a group text tonight. I'm looking forward to hearing y'all's comments during the game. We'll have our own real-time chat, but this is great stuff. For executive producer Brendan Martin.
Well, hold on there, Robert.
But
I mean, you're jumping away from me. I'm like, I was trying to create, something for you, but I'm trying to look at the time. You're going 3 minutes early, first of all, Robert. So we have to wait for my very special gift for you to be done. I don't know if it's there yet. Just give it another 2 minutes and say, why don't you, Tommy, let us know where we can find you, where people can get more information.
I know what you're up to, Brendan. I can know exactly what you're doing.
I love Brendan like a little brother.
Robert,
post it on the internet afterwards. Put it on the Facebook page.
Yes, I will put it out there. But Tommy came on Instagram. Follow him in. What's your handle on Instagram, Tommy?
Tommy Kane _ talent for all my stuff I do with my posting to shows and acting work and things like that. And it's fun to kind of be on there. And I don't get on there as much as I should and post stuff. But
then you're active on Twitter, right?
I have never gotten into Twitter, Brendan, believe it or not. I was never into the whole Twitter and X thing, and Lord knows I don't need it. It's just one more thing I got to worry about if I did have it, but I am getting passed me by that Twitter thing,
I think it's in. I think the image is done. It's a younger version of Rob, and he was also right after karate practice. So I think the best we can come up with until I can get more, but that's Rob. As a young version of himself there. So and with his glasses and he's on sidelines right there with his, and he's got his, he was really into the whole Karate Kid thing. So
oh my gosh.
Rob, you had some acne.
Did you just take a picture of Hartwell?
Oh, yeah.
On that note, gentlemen, I got to go. Y'all have a great fun championship
talk to you
game.
tonight.
Tommy, always
See you, Tom. Hey,
Tommy.
Brendan,
Yes,
I've got
You're the goat.
I've
Brendan.
got
You're the goat.
one requested tweak on a new version of this.
Anything, sir.
Just to tie it all back in.
Uh-huh.
Can you put the hee-haw cornfield in the background of that?
Oh, you need like background of like corn, like
Oh yeah.
of the hee-haw corn
With a couple days.
yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I'll tell you what. I'll get the very expensive AI to generate some stuff for the next time around. We'll have it good. The crowd loves it.
Well,
they really are into you doing this, Rob. I really feel like Audrey could probably find something about you.
Yeah, my kids have got a lot of pictures from those fraternity swaps. Yeah, and
when do we have a Rob Brown kids show?
Shoot, my kids, they are wild. Hallie Wilson, Max, and now Mallory. I mean, it's
I'm sorry. It's actually worth going along, Rob, because oddly enough, there is a picture of you in a cornfield. Back then with that outfit. So just for my friend here, John Hartwell, this is Robert when he was really into his hee-haw days. He got himself right in the back of a cornfield. So John Hartwell, there you go. There's Robert.
Oh, that is out.
Coming to the back.
It's like Iowa.
Iowa for you, Rob.
That's BR549. Call me right now.
Build it and they will come.
Yes.
Strip the corn. Strip on, strip off.
Yes,
on,
yes. I
strip
love
off.
it.
Okay.
Well,
it was worth going a little longer just to go down memory.
Brendan, this is wild. This is, hey, most often we see the face of Christ in the least among us. Happy day after Easter, everybody. Thanks for watching this show. Watch all of our sponsors. The great folks at Landers Ford, man, they're open every day except Sunday. Ask for Brad Bellamy with General Manager, Mount Moriah and 240 and Poplar and Houston Levy, where Germantown and Collierville come together. LandersFordMemphis.com. They got a huge inventory, a lot to pick from. Also, hempforpros.com. You got aches and pains, trouble sleeping, hempforpros.com. The lights out gummies for sleep, the chill for pain suppression and appetite suppression and focus. MyTownRoofing.com and the great folks at Hewlett and Dunn. Hey, Brendan, this channel tonight going to be busy. A lot of stuff coming out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tonight.
We'll see you tonight, everybody.
In the cornfield.
Good night, John.